What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In the last video you saw where I sighted in my new 410, and in that video when I got to the end and I had my TSS, the last couple of shots of TSS, I was commenting on the pattern and the spread of the pattern, and I was trying to go from memory as to what my 12 gauge normally did, and that gave me the idea, well, why don't I just compare my 12 gauge with TSS, my son's 20 gauge with TSS, and my 410, and just see what the difference is. I know they all three will kill, but I'm just kind of curious for a side-by-side comparison to see what we get. So today what I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot my 12 gauge. What I've got here is a Remington 870. I think they call this a Wingmaster maybe. Anyway, it's a bird gun basically. It's a bird hunting gun, but I took it and I put the thumb hole stock on it. What I'm going to shoot first, before I get to that, I've put the adjustable True Glow, I don't know, Magnum Gobbles something or other adjustable sight on it. So I have this sighted in at 40 yards, and I've killed a ton of birds with it out to 45 yards. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to shoot my 3-inch 12 gauge 8-shot Verdict round. I'm going to see how that patterns at 40 yards, and then from there I'm going to go to the 20 gauge shooting 3-inch 8-shot Verdict, and then I'm going to go to the 410 where I'm going to do the 3-inch 9.5 shot Verdict. So all three guns are going to be shooting Verdict ammo. The only real difference is going to be is that the 12 and 20 are going to be shooting 8-shot, and then the 410 is shooting the 9.5 shot. So let's get this thing loaded up and let's get to it. All right, we're going live here. Oh man, after shooting that 410 and the 20 gauge, I don't look forward to shooting this gun. Oh man. All right, let's go check it out. I think I flinched when I shot, even though I was on my final rest. The fore-end on that pump action is too big to fit down in here, and I was kind of rocking a little bit, so I'm pretty sure that I flinched a little bit and brought it down. So I mean, there's a buttload of pellets in that target there. Unfortunately with this, there's a bunch down here in your breast meat, which I don't like at all, because I mean, I hunt because we eat the meat, so that's not good. But I do believe I flinched on that one. Debating on whether I want to shoot that again or not, but I'm going to go ahead and do the 20 gauge and the 410 and give my shoulder a little rest for a second before if I do decide to take another shot with that. Alright, for the second shot I'm going to use my son's TriStar Raptor 20 gauge. This is the compact or the youth model. I'll just have a generic red dot scope on it. Once again, also using the Verdict 3-inch 8-shot 20 gauge, remember that. So let's get this thing loaded up. All right, I just realized he still had his improved cylinder choke in, so I had to run in and get his Indian Creek turkey choke. So let's see how this goes. All right, ready? Let's go check it out. Well, once again, it hit low. Can't imagine I flinched twice in a row. That's kind of weird. I'm gonna have to see. I may have to tweak these the open sights on my 12 gauge, and I may have to tweak his red dot a little bit. Let me check the 410 and see how that looks. But if nothing else, you know, you can kind of get an idea of the pattern density. So I mean, it's definitely more open, not as many pellets. Once again, it's drifting down low, and it's kind of looks like maybe center of patterns right in here. So I'm going to have to make some adjustments to that before he takes this gun out on his hunt. So, all right, let me check out the other gun now. All right, well, lastly for today, we're going to do the Stevens 301 410, same thing with the red dot on it. This is the gun I sighted in the last video. Once again, we're using the Verdict 3-inch. There's 7/8 ounce worth of 9.5 shot in here. Factory choke, and not much else to tell you about this. Once again, target is still showing per my rangefinder to be at 40 yards. I need to, there we go. Alright, fire in the hole. All I know is I saw the target move. Let's go check it out. Alright, so here's the 410. It does appear to be probably the best centered of the 3 shots. But like I said, I can fix that with making some adjustments to the sights. That's not a big deal. The purpose of this video really was to show kind of the pattern density. I wanted to see, you know, the pattern spread, pattern density between the 3 different loads side by side by side. Obviously with the 12 and 20 shooting 8 shot, and this one shooting 9.5. This one, you can fit more 9.5 pellets. I'm not saying that the 410 has more pellets than the 20 or 12, because it doesn't. I'm just saying I'm able to pack more pellets into that particular 410 shell with a 9.5. If I had shot the 12 or 20 with a 9 instead of the 8, I would have had a significant more pellets in those 2 loads as well. So I've said before, I think in the other video or in a previous video, the reason I use the 8 shot personally is because I don't like biting into TSS pellets. And there's always a few flyers. I mean, look down here, there's pellets way down here. Even though the majority of the pattern's up in here, you're always going to find a pellet or 2. It's just, you know, almost physically impossible to have all of the pellets go into a central cloud. Those pellets are battling each other as they're coming out the barrel, and occasionally you're going to get some pellets that are kind of kicking each other out of the main projectile path that the bulk of the pellets are going. Anyway, let's take this over, let's set it up beside the other 2 and just compare the 3 all beside each other. Alright, let's take a look at these 3 here side by side. Just looking at them, first of all, obviously, you look at the 410 and you compare it. Let me slide these around a little bit. Let me just hold it here. So you compare the 410 to the 12, way more pellets, obviously. 410, I got gnats flying around my head. 410 to the 20, same thing, way more pellets. Really good, you know, pattern density, I think. You've got a large number of pellets here in the head and neck. So at 40 yards, used to, when I shot my 3-inch 12 gauge with 5-shot lead back in the day, if I got 10 or 12 pellets in the head and the neck at 40 yards, I considered that good. You look at this, with this 410, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I've got probably nearly, by the time I get down into this area, I'm going to have roughly 40 pellets in the head and neck. That's a dead bird. If I can get the sights adjusted on these to pull it back up here to where I was aiming at, then obviously that's going to be just devastating at 40 yards. I mean, there's going to be 60 pellets in the head and neck with that, with the 20 gauge, which is what my son killed with the past 2 years on his hunts. And then obviously you're going to have even more pellets. Look at that pattern density right there. Once again, it's low. I'm going to have to adjust the sight to pull it back up. I don't really know why it's shooting low, because when we turkey hunted last year with them, I sighted all the guns in, and they were all hitting in, they were all sighted in really well at 40 yards. So I really don't know why they're drifting down now. Maybe something's happened. Maybe Verdict has changed a little something with their load. I don't know, but either way, the pattern density on those two especially are incredible. And then same thing with that 410. Just, that is just such a smooth, sweet shooting gun. It has no recoil. It is not overly loud for somebody who may have sensitive hearing. The gun weighs half as much as my 12 gauge here does. So excellent option, especially for youth. But if I was probably looking for just if I was coming into the game to turkey hunt now as a first timer, probably what I would do is I would just go with a 20 gauge personally. It's a little bit lighter than the 12. You're going to have a little bit less recoil. Typically the shells are a little bit cheaper than the 12 gauge. So you can get a ton of pellets on target at 40 yards. Yes, there are guys that push this TSS to 60, 70, 80 yards. I'm not going to do it. That's not the purpose of it. I've said that time and time again. That's not what TSS was developed for. That's not what I'm going to use it for. But you can get a ton of pellets on target at 40 yards and even beyond with a 20 gauge. And they're lethal. And this is the 8-shot. If I had been using 9-shot, there would have been even more pellets here. So just something to keep in mind. Alright everybody, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you liked it. This was a comparison that I kind of wanted to do for my own sake and for my own peace of mind as I go into this turkey season. I'm going to be very comfortable and confident with all three of those guns. Obviously, I've got a little bit of work to do on the 12 and 20 to get it re-sighted in and dialed back in again. Like I said, I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's caused them to shift, because both of those guns were just perfectly on last turkey season. I haven't shot my 12 gauge since last turkey season because it is my dedicated turkey gun. The 20 gauge, my son has hunted with it all year. So it's entirely possible that he bumped the red dot. I don't know what's happened. For some reason though, they're both shooting a little bit lower than they were last year. Sighted in last year and hunted last year with Verdict loads. So it's not like I'm changing loads around and that might have done it. I just need to figure out, I just need to get them re-sighted in, get it dialed in before turkey season gets here, and I'll be a lot more comfortable and confident going to the woods this season. Thank you for watching. I ask that you hit that like, subscribe button, hit the bell if you want to be notified every time we release a new video. Good luck this turkey season. Stay safe, and God bless.